It was another wild day on the silver market, which shows that the rally is still going strong. Also, the big bullion dealer made a news that shocked the precious metals market. As we look around, we'll talk about that and how to fix the record. Yes, that's right. Early in the day, silver prices fell all the way to $86.36 before rising again and again, this time to $93. In fact, today's high was $93.64. There is a huge difference between the low and high prices, without a doubt. Silver, on the other hand, is at $92.43 right now. It's now down just over 1% for the day, or 92 cents overall, which means it's made up most of the money it lost. Oh, today has been crazy. As it turned out, I posted a video when news of AppMax's big announcement spread, but I got the language wrong because it wasn't very clear. A lot of people will agree that it was hard to really understand. In any case, they've made a big change to that letter in that language. I am going to talk about that after this. That being said, what about the risk? Let's get out the old Salivate metal volatility meter. It changes a lot. I believe we will raise this to a pretty high level at this point, and our volatility index will be set to full gauge while we look at the markets and figure out what's going on. Even though there is a lot going on, natural market forces, things, and global events are neither slowing down nor stopping. Of course, what we saw here was fear of more tariffs, this time on imports, but Trump has said that he won't put taxes on gold, so that's good news. Hasn't said much about silver, but I don't think rare metals will happen in general. Still, the markets are moving. Kitco says that even though silver prices went up 30% in the first few days of the new year, they are still very volatile, and there is some technical selling pressure. This is because President Trump's long-awaited decision confirms that the valuable metal will not be subject to import tariffs just yet. So I guess it could change, but that has probably made some of the fear go down a bit. There is a dip, and there was a dip earlier. I hope you took advantage of it. My friends at Summit Metal, who sponsors the channel, have silver in stock, and they will also buy silver from you. Even though they're both buying and selling, click on the link in the description below to check them out and see for yourself how great their customer service is. So, the White House said in a number of statements released Wednesday night that it would not be putting any tariffs on processed key minerals or the products that come from them. Instead, the government is trying to make new trade deals to bring in more essential minerals, based on suggestions from the Secretary of Commerce. The Secretary suggested several things that should be done, such as changing how these minerals are imported so that they don't threaten to weaken national security. Okay, so the Secretary wants me to make deals with other countries to make sure the US has enough of these important minerals and to fix any problems in the supply line as soon as possible. In addition, the Secretary said that it might be okay to put limits on imports, like tariffs, if satisfactory deals aren't reached quickly enough. The Trump government pointed out that even though the US does produce important minerals, it doesn't have enough production capacity and has to import processed minerals. To put it another way, they can send us raw materials that are then improved in another country, and then we beg them to send them back to us finished. That's something we need to do more of here at home, and I think that's what's really driving things here. But after hitting a high of $93 an ounce, silver prices came under a lot of selling pressure overnight. After two big changes at the CME Group, spot silver is now selling at about $92 an ounce, which is down about 1%. However, prices are still higher than they were near $86 an ounce, which shows that the market is still strong. To give you an idea, the notional attachment to the percentage for margin rates was raised. These rates will now be floating based on the percentage based on price and the selling of 100-ounce silver futures contracts. If you buy 10 of these, you'll get 100 ounces, and you'll never get the physical form back. The same is true for the gold 1 Oz type. You'll get your money back, not silver or gold. That's the big change, but it also opens up more opportunities. I think that's what will likely lead to even higher silver prices in the future, which is why I don't think the bull run is over yet. People in the market were looking forward to Trump's news that the U.S. Geological Survey would be adding silver and platinum group metals to its list of critical minerals. The choice led to a Section 232 tariff probe, and the government had 90 days to decide what to do. His announcement, on the other hand, came 9 days early. But because they are rare metals, gold, silver, and PGMs were not affected by the global tariffs Trump put in place last year. Even so, people were afraid that silver, platinum, and palladium might still have to deal with taxes because they are so important as industrial metals. However, a lot of analysts thought that silver tariffs were very unlikely to happen. Because of this, market players kept their U.S. stockpiles high for most of 2025, which put a lot of stress on the metal's global supply chain. It was hard for the global physical market to stay liquid because there wasn't enough free-floating metal. This was because new investor demand and industrial consumption were competing for limited supplies in London and China. It's clear that China is the market leader because their prices are far higher than ours here in the US, measured in US dollars. They are still having trouble getting enough supplies in China. Of course, that is a part of how we figure this out. Even though supply problems in the US have been temporarily fixed, the physical silver market is still open to other problems, especially now that China has put limits on its exports. However, a commodity analyst at Metals Focus said that many of these market worries are unfounded and that they could be exporting silver from mainland China. China has always needed a license, and the list of companies that are eligible is looked over every 2 years. So this policy shouldn't be seen as a ban on exports or a big change in how China feels about silver exports. Instead, the analyst said in a note that it shows a move towards stricter control of export licenses. Even so, that might still be enough, and the price has gone up because people are afraid of it. But until everyone fully understands what it is, I heard it sounds like some smaller businesses are being pushed out. Only the bigger ones will be able to work in that setting. In the end, the silver market is likely to settle down as London's stocks continue to rise and China's silver exports stay the same as they were last year. However, this will likely happen slowly. This could cause the price of silver to drop in the short term, but investors will quickly buy up any losses, which will keep the price of silver going up for the near future. With some of these new facts, that means the bull run is still going on. Watch how that goes. It's interesting to see how people are interpreting some of the new rules or changes that are happening there. But I'm keeping an eye out for more news about what's going to happen with the vaults and the conchs. There is silver in those vaults, so there isn't a lack of silver in the conchs. There's more silver scrap on the market in the West. There is a severe lack of high-grade refining capacity, which has slowed down the rate at which the material can be processed on the market. But with all the silver that has been coming into the New York vault of conchs, it's being sold and cleared. But it's happening slowly enough that it hasn't put too much stress on the COMEX. Of course, I believe that's one reason the cost is less here than in China. And the LBMA is also getting more money put into their vaults. I haven't seen some of those numbers in a while, but I don't think they're as clear about what they hold. I believe we get numbers there every month. But it is very interesting. Let's look at what AppMax has done. I uploaded a video late last night about the AppMax letter to customers, about how they're under a lot of stress and have to limit some of their goods. I also said that I thought the letter meant that they were going to have a $10,000 minimum for the retail market. The wording was not well put together. Most people would agree with that. They could see how I got it wrong, but I didn't read it carefully enough. It also has to do with selling back. To put it another way, buybacks are limited. Silver Heist told me about my mistake early this morning, and I tried to fix it in the comments. I later took that video offline because I made so many mistakes that I don't want to confuse my audience with a pinned comment that tries to set the record straight. But, they took that part of the letter out since then without giving any reason. I checked their sell page and saw that there is a $10,000 minimum for buybacks. It's written there in big, easy-to-read letters. This means that they can't handle some of these smaller items. For example, if you want to sell them a tube of Eagles, you would have to send that in. They will ask you to pay 10,000 won so that you can send in 10,000 won worth of coins. To put it another way, They need that amount based on the spot price before they will take any of your buybacks, but they will sell to you as long as you meet the regular minimum order amount. Also, I believe you can only buy one thing, but you'll have to pay for shipping. Only the sell to page has been made clear. I also think it was kind of false, but I won't say it was. It was just badly written, and they took that phrase out without giving a reason. If you don't look further, it might look like they just stopped following that policy on the sell to page. Still, it's shocking because it shows that the precious metals market is under a lot of stress right now. Bullion traders all over the world are under a lot of stress right now, whether they're buying or selling. So be patient with the gold dealer you choose. Please wait and understand that it might take a while for your orders to arrive. That's all there is to it. Silver in particular is going through some very exciting times right now. Feel free to tell me what you think in the area below. I hope this movie was interesting, helpful, and educational for you. Thank you so much for watching, and please rate, share, review, and subscribe. Music.